Hello, my name is Alicia, and I'm the owner of the Crecelius Flute Studio. Today, I wanted to go through some of my favorite stretches for releasing tension in the upper body, mainly the neck, the shoulders, and the spine, the upper spine. And before we begin, I want to remind you that this is a practice in the sense that this is not a one-stop fix. If you do this once, it's not going to solve all your problems. It's something that you need to be mindful of and incorporate in your daily routine or practice schedule. Sometimes this is merely a part of my morning wake up, started getting my body ready to deal with the day. But other days, when I'm feeling a lot of stress or tension, I will stop my playing, my practicing, and go into some of these stretches just to sort of give myself a reminder of how I should feel and a restart, just kind of flushing the system out so that when I return to practicing, I'm feeling relaxed and open. In the same thought that this is a practice, remember to move at your own pace. You can do some of these stretches longer or shorter than I'm doing them here. This is really just me listing off these stretches because I like them and I think they are useful. The other important thing is to remember to breathe. I think it's very easy for us to forget, especially when we're practicing and we're so focused on notes, to forget to let our body function normally. And that includes breathing. And when we do that, that's often what creates the tension in our playing. So let's begin. I'm seated on my floor. I'm sitting with my right foot slightly in front of my left foot in a, it's not butterfly position, or sitting cross-legged. It's like a mix. And I'm going to start with head rolls. Half head rolls going from one shoulder down to the other, and then full head rolls where I'm going all the way around. And remember to breathe. So I don't know if you can hear it. I'm inhaling when I get up to my shoulder and exhaling on the way down. And when I switch to my full head rolls, I'll incorporate my breathing again. So I'm inhaling and exhaling regularly. This is a good time to make sure that you're still sitting up straight. It's very easy to slouch into our head rolls, so keep your spine elongated with the natural curve in your spine. And keep your shoulders down. Coming back up, do some more neck stretches using our arms to pull and get a deeper stretch in our neck. So my head's to the side and I'm pulling down slightly with my arm to get a deeper stretch in my neck. Dropping my head, tucking my chin in a diagonal, doing the same thing. My hands on the back of my skull. Going to the other side. Tucking my chin. Once your neck is feeling a little more flexible, maybe a little more lubricated, go into some basic shoulder rolls so that when we're in front, our shoulders are trying to meet and our shoulder blades are spread open, and when we go back, my shoulder blades are touching and my shoulders are open. Going the other way. For some people, these shoulder rolls might be enough. If they are, great. If you want a little bit of more of a stretch, go ahead and make wings, putting your fingertips on your shoulders, and draw circles, the biggest circles you can with your elbows, both directions. Once you feel like your shoulders have been rolled enough, we'll do a cross arm stretch. I'm going to bring my right arm across my body, bring my left arm up perpendicularly, and use my left arm to pull my right arm back so I get a good shoulder stretch. If you're feeling any discomfort in these stretches, this would be a good time to focus on your breathing and breathe through it. The longer you stay breathing through a particular stretch, the deeper the stretch will get. Go ahead and release that. Cross your left arm over, bring your right arm up. Same thing. Go ahead and release your arms. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing, but what I'm going to be doing is a behind the back bind, which means my hands are going to meet behind my back and clasp if they can. You might not be able to clasp, but that's something to work towards. It just depends on your flexibility that you already have. And like anything, over time, practice will make you more flexible, which again is why this should be done not just once, but repeatedly. It should be part of your daily practice. So this time I'm going to bring my right arm up and bring it back so I can pat my back if I wanted to, and my left arm is going to come up in the opposite direction so that my right hand can clap it. And I'll lock my hands. You may not be able to reach this yet, like I said. You may be reaching, and that's fine. You'll get there eventually. And I know that you can use a scarf or ribbon to feel that connection if you can't quite clasp your hands yet. Go ahead and release. Switch sides. My left hand is on top. I can pat my back. My right hand goes up to meet it. I feel like this is a stretch that comes up a lot in almost anything. Dance, gymnastics, sports. I feel like I had to do this for tennis and soccer. Release. I'm going to turn and face forward for eagle arms, which goes with an eagle pose, which is part of a yoga practice. I'm going to take my arms out and swing them in front. Right now my right arm is underneath my left arm. My left arm is going to come straight up perpendicularly, and my right arm is going to wrap around it. And the goal is for my palms to meet. I'm not quite there yet because this is a new practice for me, so I'm still working on getting better at it. I'm going to keep my shoulders down. Don't let them rise up, much like in playing or anything. We want our shoulders down and relaxed, or as relaxed as possible. You're going to feel a deep shoulder stretch in back as your shoulder blades are pulled apart. And if you feel comfortable here or comfortable enough, try and send your hands up towards the ceiling. When you're ready, bring them back down, release. Give them a second for blood to recirculate through the arms. And then we'll do the other side. This time my left arm is underneath, my right arm comes up, my left arm wraps around. Make sure your shoulders are pressed down. And when you're ready, if you're ready, try and send your hands closer to the ceiling. Bring your arms back down and unhook them. One of the final shoulder stretches, mainly shoulder stretches we're going to do, is a backhand clasp, and I'm sure many people have done this too. Turn to the side to show it a little better. I'm going to take my arms and clap them together, interlock my fingers, and try and pull my arms down and my shoulder blades together. So create a little bit of a back arch at the top. If this is comfortable for you, you can place your hands clasped on the floor and give yourself a little bit more of a back stretch. ahead and come back up, unclasp your arms, and again, let the blood flow back into your arms. When you're ready, I will meet you in a tabletop position. This is a tabletop position. It's where my hands are underneath my shoulder and my knees are underneath my hips. They're about a hip's width distance apart. To start off, we're going to do a stretch called threading the needle, and it's going to look like exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to take my left arm up. I'm going to thread it through underneath my right shoulder and lay my shoulder down on the floor, relaxing my left arm and using my right arm to push up to get a nice shoulder stretch. This is probably one of my favorite stretches, to be honest. When you're ready, come back up to tabletop position and do the other side. Right hand up, thread it through, rest on your right shoulder, use the left arm to push up. Come back up to tabletop position and we'll do cow and cat. And these are probably, again, stretches you are familiar with and maybe even have done. So starting in a neutral position, making sure you're pushing up and that you're not hunched into your shoulders. We drop into cow, where we drop our belly towards the floor, our hips rotate a little bit, and we're going to try to look up towards the ceiling as much as we can. Inversely, cat, we're going to arch our back up and look towards our belly button. Back into cow. Cat. One more time. And then returning to neutral. From here, if you're feeling up for it, a really good stretch to do is downward dog. And I'm sure everyone's heard of this one too, and it's maybe intimidating. But it has a lot of benefits and it's a really, really good stretch. So I'm going to tuck my toes underneath and then I'm already moving my arms out because I know I need to. Push up through my hips so that my hips go up towards the sky. Now I'm going to adjust my arms a little bit because I don't like where they are. And what I'm thinking about here is pushing away from my hands, pushing away from the ground, sending my chest towards my hips up towards the ceiling, and my heels down towards the ground. And I know that sounds like a lot of converse motion, but it leads to a really, really nice deep stretch. After a few breaths there, can come back down to tabletop. And then we're going to end in child's pose, which is one of my favorite positions. So I'm going to lean back and sit back on my heels. Child's pose can be done with my knees together or out. So go ahead and pick which one you want to do. I'm going to keep my knees together. I'm going to walk my fingers out as far away as I can. And I'm going to tent my fingers and drop my forehead. This is another shoulder stretch. It's an engaged, active child's pose. If you feel like you've had enough stretching, which I would understand, you can do a more rejuvenating child's pose by bringing your arms back behind you, palms up, and just resting your head. And this allows blood to flow back into the arms. Stay in child's pose as long as you want. It's one of the best poses in my opinion. Thank you so much for joining me and going through those stretches. They truly are some of my favorite, and I do them almost every day, if not every day. And again, sometimes they happen in the middle of my practice session because I'm feeling tension somewhere. A final note reminder, please remember that doing this once will not solve your problems. This needs to be a regular part of your practice, not only for your flute playing, but also just for general wellness. Stress can add a lot of tension, stress of any kind. So I truly advocate doing these stretches on a regular basis. I hope that you find them helpful and that they release tension for your practice sessions. Happy practicing. See you again soon.